Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks a lot for downloading my luminosity mask panel. I hope you would love it as I love it because it is one of the things that makes everything so easy. Just have a look on it.
So now we are in the Photoshop. Maybe the panel is not yet visible if you have not activated till now. So just go to Window, Extension, AF Panel, and you will see it. This is the whole panel. The whole panel has two parts. The luminosity mask part and some other actions like 3 different Orton effects, align all layers, rasterize layers, a high pass, and 2 edges mask. I'll show you later what that is, but it's a pretty cool action. One of the things how the panel work is whatever you prefer to see on start, just let that be visible at the end. So if this part of the panel is visible and you close it, next time it is still like that. Even if you close Photoshop or if you shut down your whole computer, it will be always the last part open. So we start with luminosity masks. I have to show you 2 or 3 things first. One of them is this cool thing. If you just hover on it, don't push it, just go on it, and you have a menu with all the most important shortcuts. These are the most shortcuts I use. I guess sometimes you will need they because it is much easier to work with shortcuts, and there is a shortcut menu in Photoshop, but that one is much faster and you find all the things you need, like show mask, select mask, add to the selection, subtract from selection, intersection with selection, show single layer, deactivate mask, copy mask, and so on. Just watch on it. If you push the button, automatically opens a site in the internet. So with this tutorial, so if you maybe in 1 or 2 weeks don't remember how something works, just push on that button, you will go on the internet. Of course the site is not yet visible because I'm right now recording it, so it is not possible. We have another menu in that you can find the most important links. The link on top is the link to Rick's site. Rick Maschke is the guy who made me this panel, so I made all the actions and he made me this panel out of my actions. This guy is crazy good and he really know how it works. So if you wanna make your own panel, he has an ebook where he show how that works. He has some crazy good tutorials, and yeah, you will find they all here. Next is the link to my website. Of course, you will find all my workshops and photo travels there and whatever you need to know. This link is to download my free ebook. If you have not done that yet, do it because it is really interesting. And of course you can also buy some tutorials. I have many tutorials. The English one will be released in May 2019, so you will learn how I work with the panel and how, not just with the panel, how I work generally, how I process some pictures, how I shoot night shots, what I do when I'm on the spot. So they are huge tutorials. I have filmed that day in Tenerife with the whole film crew, and they are pretty cool. So maybe you want to buy one. This one is an option I'll show you later. Automatically mask on Orton effect. There's an option if you want to see your Orton with mask or without mask, but I'll show you that later. Okay, let's go to the masks. Normally you use bright masks or dark masks, so you have the option to create all the bright masks, and you have a folder with all your bright mask. You can do the same with the darks, of course. Now if you want to show all the single masks, you have these buttons. If you push one, you see the first one, next, next. This is everything pretty quick. If you want to select it, so maybe if you need that selection to dodge and burn something in the stone, just push on this and you have a selection out of that. You can see it also here. So this is one way to work with it. You can always create the folder first with all the masks in it. This is the quickest way to work. If you have a slower computer, better first create all. But if you work with a really fast computer, you don't need that. Oh wait, we don't need that because we can delete this folder or all masks just with that. Delete all masks. Pam. Deleted. So if you have a fast computer and you don't want to see always this folder on top, you can just create the selections. By the way, I have active selection. I have a button, this select selection, and the selection is this selected. So if you just want to have the selection without creating all the masks, push one of that buttons without creating masks, and in the background the panel creates the layer with the mask, activate it and delete it. So you have just the selection. You can do that with everyone. Now it was not so fast, but also not too long. But if you maybe want to create the sixth one, so this one is the strongest, it needs a little bit more time because there is an option in the background that you have to do that 6 times. So your computer maybe needs a little bit power, and if you don't have power, it needs time. But if you push also that, it creates out of that the selection without creating a folder. Now we have just the selection here and we can work with that, the select selection. If you want to if you're not sure if maybe it is the third one, but I'm not sure if it is the right and I don't want to create all the masks, I just push that and it creates just one single. I can see it. Okay, I guess it is the right one. Or maybe it is not the right. No, maybe I have to create the first one too. Even that is not the right. So second one. Oh, cool, it is the right. Then I push the selection button. I have the selection and I can work with it. If later I think, oh, maybe I need all, or I just I want a little bit more organized folder, I still can push the create bright masks button. Wait, for selection. Okay. I just can push the create bright masks button. I push it and it automatically makes me all the new one and it organizes that in a logical way. So the B1 will be on top. You see it, B2, B3, B4, and so on. After working with it, I delete it because it needs always a little bit space. So you see now here 861 megabytes. If I delete it, it is just 444. So it needs a little bit space. Not so much, but a little bit. So these are the most important things on the bright masks part. If you want to work with a bright mask, I show you just quick how you can work with that. We use maybe the third one. I need just a selection. Now here I have a brighter version of the picture. Can you see that? It is a brighter version. By the way, even that shortcut is in the list. So you find all. You have just to push Shift and push on that to deactivate it. So now we just want to show the bright parts of that layer to make a dodge and burn. Now I just have to take my brush, maybe up to 60%. I do it just rough, you know, it is not like I work really, but it's just to show you how fast and easy you can do some dodge and burnings. Now you see we have that created. I can deselect it, deactivate it, activate it. You see, it is crazy how fast we highlighted all the bright parts. If I wanna work just with the selection without touching the sky, there's a cool option. Normally I always have on top of my folders a mask for the sky. If I want to use that, I just have to push command and activate it, so I can work with the sky and the foreground separately. I do it always like that, so I always have that. Now if I have a selection, maybe the brights too, but I don't wanna paint on the part in the sky, there's an easy way to do it. We just push command and alt or option. Now we have a minus sign there, and with that you can deactivate this part of the selection, pam, and I have the selection just from that part. So I have just luminosity mask from a foreground, and I can paint on that without touching the sky. So this is how I work with luminosity mask, a small tutorial by the way. Next we have is the Orton effect. We go to another picture. This is an old picture I made maybe 3 or 4 years ago. This time I don't use some strong Orton effect, so I guess it is a cool picture to show it how it works. We go to the actions and we have 3 different Orton effects. If you don't know what an Orton effect means, I'll show you that quick. Orton effect is a way to make the light stronger. In a picture maybe like that, I have light from the left side, but I used also an Orton effect to make that stronger. You know, it's like a little bit dreamy effect. There are many photographers, they use that really strong over the whole picture. I don't like that. I prefer to use it just in some places in the picture to have a sharp area and a dreamy soft area. You can even use in your night shots, you know, maybe in that part or in that part to just have the light a little bit softer. Even here you can see that, you know, it's the same. I used it just in that small part to have a little bit softer. Even in cityscapes it is pretty cool, you know, the sun comes from the left side, so use it pretty strong here and lesser on the right side, so I have a sharp area and a soft area and the picture looks much cooler. Okay, back to Photoshop. We want to use the Orton effect. We have 3 one. The strong one first. It is like the name says, a strong one. So if you push the button, you have a really strong Orton effect. Now this is the point where I have to show you something different. You see the mask is deactivated. You can activate it with your shift button and push on it. This is what I said first. We have 2 options to create that Orton. Some of you maybe wanna see it not, because I always work like that. First deactivate the whole thing I've done and then I start to paint over here. So I have to activate my mask, and if I paint, you can see how the Orton effect is here. Undo that, or maybe better delete that. So now here you have that option automatically mask on Orton effect. If you push that like that, it changed, and now if I create Orton effect, I have just deactivate or active layer mask. As you remember, first I had it like that. So we create the Orton effect with the mask, but the mask is deactivated. I prefer that, so I see first what I do, then I push shift and that, and I can paint it wherever I want, like before. Okay, the next I have is a little bit less strong Orton, but I like it really because it is not just Orton, it is an Orton I created, a little bit different than most of the normal Ortons. It also pushes the light a little bit. You know, it is not strong as strong as the other one, but it pushes the lights, and you see that? Everything is just a little bit dreamy, not so strong like the other one. I really love that one. Or sometimes I also use both. You know, that first I use that to have everything a little bit soft, and with the stronger one I can even make the lights stronger. One thing or one problem with Orton effect is you see everything here is not sharp anymore. You see, sharp, not sharp. This problem is easy to handle because I created another Orton effect, same like the light glow, but in combination with some with a high pass. So if you push that button, I create, or not, the panel creates an Orton effect in combination with a high pass. So you have, you can see that it is shiny, so you see all the soft things, but it is still sharp. It is, can you see that? Especially in that part, pretty cool. You see that this is a big problem sometimes. Halos, I hate halos. I really hate it. And I created something pretty cool for you guys to handle that. First of all, we have the option to create a high pass. You know, high pass is the best way to sharpen your picture, or the best way if you want to sharpen it just with Photoshop. Made a stop in the action, so you can set your radius, but I guess 3.6 most of the time is enough. Okay, now we created a high pass. You see, everything is sharper. The problem is that part. It is not so strong in that picture, but in the picture I showed you before, there was a pretty strong halo. Of course, because the picture was already sharpened. So now we need to mask this part to have it not as sharp as it is now. This is pretty easy, but you need something. As said before, I always have a selection of the sky or whatever. If I have a big rock here, I have a selection of that rock. The halos, most of the time, they are on the edges of some mountains. If you have a sky or maybe water in the background, just something soft, you know, if there you have strong contrasts, you create halos. So now I create that action. If you have your sky selection, you just have to select that, push edges masks, and we created that. This is a mask out of my sky mask that masks 8 pixels out of that. So now I just can push that to my layer mask, and have you seen? Look at that. I deactivated. Can you see the halos here? I reactivated. We have a sharper picture, but without halos. pretty good option to sharpen your picture without creating halos. By the way, if you want to make something visible, you can push the shift button, the option button. I guess I said that before. Even that you will find in all my shortcut list. Even that all you will find in my shortcut list. So all the most important shortcuts are in that list. Sometimes this mask is a little bit too strong, so we have also the option to create edges mask soft. Again, activate the sky selection, push edges mask soft. Now we created the same but softer. So just drag and drop it right here, and we have the same, just not as strong as before. Okay, we have two things left. One is the rasterize layers. I really love that option because, you know, after working maybe with several layers, and sometimes you work with smart layers or smart effect or smart object, whatever, they need disk space, or they make your Photoshop file bigger, and if it is too big, you are not able to save that in a TIFF or in a normal Photoshop file. You have to save that as a big file. But I don't like that, so I always rasterize all the layers after using it. From one point, I'm sure I just don't need that anymore. You know, you in the smart object you can have everything you want. Maybe in that file can be 5 other files just together in one, so your project will be too big. And instead to select everything and go to rasterize, blah blah blah, you just push here the rasterize layers button, and it rasterizes all your layers. You have just normal layers without smart object. This is one. The next one is also a pretty cool thing. I guess some of you maybe know the problem with working with multi-exposures like that. To create a picture, I have more than one layer, but everything is the same. But sometimes you do something wrong during your photography process, like here. You know, it is a little bit. I moved my camera a little bit. If I use that to maybe, or maybe if I want to use that to touch and burn everything to make the bright part brighter, it is not possible because, you know, everything will be unsharp because they are not same. So with that button, you just can align all layers, push it, and they all will be aligned. So okay, you can see that everything is like it has to be. Yeah, I guess that's it. This is my panel. I hope you will have much fun with it. I hope you use it. And maybe we see us on one of my workshops. You know, you find all my workshops over here. Maybe you want to buy some of my tutorials to know how I worked. You can push that button and buy it, or just download my free ebook. Whatever. Wish you much fun, and yeah, thanks a lot for downloading it. Bye and good evening.